For as long as I can remember, I have fallen asleep near or after midnight. I've always stayed up late, and usually that means I wake up late. But now that I have work at 8 a.m., I've been changing my routine to wake up earlier, whereas before I would wake up, brush my teeth, and then turn on my computer. And before, during my gap in between jobs, my routine, if we could even call it that, would be all over the place. I'm still figuring out, but right now, I like to wake up at least 1 to 2 hours before work. I do my necessary bathroom things, and then my first win of the day is making my bed. Making your bed doesn't mean you're productive, but it does mean that you did something that contributes to a clean space. And honestly, if your bed isn't made, then your room automatically looks messy, so I always make my bed. My next ritual is morning movement. This has truly been a game changer, especially going on my morning walks. I don't put on makeup or anything, but I do change out of my PJs and into some workout attire that I set out the night before, and I will go on a morning walk. I love these, and since I've started doing this daily, I feel different in a way. There's just something about a walk in the morning where no one is around and everything is still quiet that is so refreshing. I've actually also hit the gym and done full workouts at 5 a.m. too, and those feel great, but I haven't quite worked my way up to being a 5 a.m. gym girly. Maybe I will, or maybe I won't. The thing about a morning routine is it's supposed to be what makes you feel good and taken care of before you dive into your responsibilities. Frankly, I like working out in the morning, but I also like working out at night or in the middle of the afternoon, so it all just depends. After my walk, I eat a high-protein breakfast. It's usually always the same: bread, breakfast meat, and eggs. Sometimes I'll add more egg whites or switch it up with some oatmeal, but I honestly could eat this same breakfast every day and not get tired of it. I don't know how people skip breakfast, like it is my favorite meal of the day. And I think it's so important to fuel your body with energy to set yourself up for a great day. And even if you have a not so great day, at least you had some food in your stomach. I don't typically drink coffee with my breakfast because I like to wait at least an hour or an hour and a half before my first cup of coffee so that I allow my body's cortisol to naturally rise on its own first, and then I'll have some caffeine. But again, a morning routine is what you want to do and what makes you feel good. So if you want to have a cup of coffee right when you wake up, have a coffee right when you wake up. It's all about what makes you feel good before you dive into the rest of the day. That being said, I typically try not to be on any screens, especially my phone during this time, and I think it's important that you don't, because your brain is still in the state where it's very susceptible and it's still transitioning from rest to activity. So you really don't want to do things that immediately send your brain into hyper-focus mode, like scrolling or checking notifications, but you want to do something that's a little bit slower or quieter. So what I like to do is spend time with God. I pray right when I wake up, and then I also have been reading the Bible. This is actually one of 2 Bibles that I have. I am not even gonna lie, the first one I had was too complicated to read as a first-time Bible reader. So I found this one for teens that my mom got me when I was younger, and it works pretty well. It explains the verses in the margins and has dedicated sections to explain big ideas or themes throughout the entire book. It has taken me a long time to get through some of the books, and that's because for the longest time I let other things take precedence over my Bible study, but truly learning about God's wisdom and his message has been a transformative experience. I want to get a type of Bible where I can write in the margins, but for now, whenever I find a particular verse that calls to me, which is low-key all of them, I'll write it down and how it applies to my life. And lastly, I'll pray. I did change to a cute top and put on some makeup as I do work from home and have meetings, but also just to feel presentable throughout the day. Lastly, I make coffee. Every single day I look forward to my first sip of coffee. It is truly the simplest pleasure in life that I love. Then when I have my coffee, I sit down and I do something just for myself that is creative. Usually I'll edit some content or read or even just play a game, but something that is just for my hobbies, just for me before it's time to go to work. I think it's so important to do something that's just for you, and it doesn't have to be productive. And this is my routine that I think sets me up for a really great day. So that is my very simple morning routine. I don't think you need to do a 10-step morning routine to be productive for the rest of the day, but I do think it's important to do things for yourself before you go out and do them for other people. Obviously, all of those things I just said are for yourself, right? There's the physical habits, and then there's the self-development habits, and then there are mental health habits like mindfulness. Then there's, of course, like financial habits, and then there's creative habits. And I think it's important to do something creative every single day. I'm using the term creative here loosely. I just think something that is mentally stimulating. And so what I'm about to do now is read my book. And it's not necessarily creative, creative, right? I didn't write it, but I've been at this point in this book for probably 3 weeks. I haven't picked it up in a while, and I'm not making time sometimes for my creativity because I'm making time for my other creative habits, which is editing and content. And while that is awesome and I love doing it, I think I just need a little bit more mental stimulation. I've also been playing a new game. I've been playing this game a lot. I've been playing Spider Solitaire. And then some days in the morning I will edit, but I think it's important to do something for you before you dive into your professional goals. I do have a big girl job that I prayed for, that I'm grateful for, that I'm very blessed for, but it is separate from my personal life. And I want to make sure that I give time to my personal goals, which include movement, spending time with God, and doing something creative in the morning before I even jump into anything that has to do with my job. And that's just what I think works best for me. I don't believe in waking up and getting right to work. I don't believe in waking up and getting right to being productive. We are not supposed to be productive 24 hours of the day. And even though this is like a productive morning routine, it's really just a routine. A little bit slow, simple, but it's what works for me to make sure that I'm taken care of, that I look cute, right? I got my makeup on, a little work from home fit, and that I'm hydrated, and that I got my steps in, and that I'm caffeinated, and that I stimulated my brain a little bit before I went and stared at a screen for 8 hours. I think this is proof that you don't need to have like a 10-step morning routine where you make your bed and you meditate for 5 minutes and then you do hot yoga and then run 8 miles. Like, I'm sure that works for people, and I'm sure they love it, and I'm sure they're incredibly awesome people. But this is my morning routine. And I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope that gave you some inspiration to set your own morning routine and have some rituals for yourself that make you feel good, and that you do something that you love right when you wake up in the morning. So that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next vlog. Bye.